Never mind. Eddie, come in here. And that's how we start the episode. That's how we start episode, what, 38? Apparently my dog just did not. God. He wanted to. I swear, if you say that one more fucking time.
I'm going full bright on your ass, okay?
Okay.
Science for this science god chainsaws.
Anyway, let me do my thing. Welcome to the Beyond Pixels podcast. Today is episode 38, looks like, and we are talking about science of all kinds. Just in general, we're talking science. Because why not?
Yeah, that's a name I haven't seen in a bit.
Yeah, Xavion is coming on. Hello, Strange Dragon. And if anyone is watching this live today and wants us to touch on any specific science topics, let us know. I've got a few little bullet points that I want to look at and talk about. For the most part, it goes to a video that I watched recently about how mathematically black holes exist, or black holes and white holes exist. And due to the nature of black holes and their counterpart, it's basically mathematically the multiverse is a thing. Like, there are multiple universes that are only accessible in one direction, though. Which is actually really cool.
Have we gotten to the topic of quantum non-location yet?
Oh, we'll get there.
Science god.
We're just getting going.
What did I miss?
We gotta work our way
If you
up.
say that one more fucking time.
So far, apparently the multiverse is a real thing.
Yeah. So I was watching a video that was going through the mathematics of black holes and how light bends around them. And there is a certain point around a black hole that if the black hole is rotating, you can get to this point that's closer to the center, and you can mathematically exit into another universe. But you can only go in one direction, so you can't ever come back.
Okay.
Unless there's a black hole on that side and a white hole on this side.
No,
And-
no, you're wrong. The mathematics of it and how light travels and how light interacts with black holes, the math says you cannot go backwards because light only travels through time. Light does not magically reverse in time. And time is one of the things that is... Yes, but light goes forward in time. And that's how we perceive time in itself, is by light and light traveling distances. That's how all of time is.
That's where the term light year comes from.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but
the thing is, with
you cannot go backwards through them. You cannot go backwards in time, and the math of the black holes that I'm talking about is one direction. It requires the passage of time for you to travel against the black hole and go into another universe. And that does not work in the opposite direction.
I got a totally nerdy thing I just want to add on here as a thought thing. But Vampy, you're amped up. You go first.
Okay, my thought is, if you've ever seen the show Doctor Who, I forget what kind of wormhole type that is that they go through. But it's a specific type that would allow, technically, travel through time and space at the same time. Now, at one point, they do end up in an alternate universe, one of the multiverses, and they do get back.
Yes,
That
you're talking
may
about a
be a
TV
way
show. I'm
to-
talking about the math
Scientifically,
of black holes. Solely talking about the math of black holes.
Let me finish.
Wormholes are a different story. Wormholes are a completely different thing.
But
The math of black holes, though, has basically proven that there are multiple universes that we could travel to using black holes. That is different than wormholes. We're going to get to wormholes.
Well, I'm just saying that it is scientifically correct with the way they used it. Though it is a science fiction show, they try to stick.
It is a theoretical. Wormholes are not proven to exist. Black holes are proven to exist.
Black
wormholes
holes
are not.
Just be considered wormholes at that point, though. Just one way.
No.
Well,
No. Wormholes and black holes. Wormholes connect to arbitrary points in space. A black hole is a giant mass in space.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Have you heard about the event horizon?
Yes, the event horizon that spaghettifies you, and basically turns you into a long-ass noodle.
That's the funny thing, though, because from your perspective, it never will. You will never reach the event horizon from your own perspective.
Time slows that.
Everyone. Well, you'll reach it from your you'll never reach it from your perspective, and everyone on the outside will just see you slowly fade as your body, as the light becomes more and more redshifted.
Yeah, but the unfortunate thing with that is we already have had a significant thing happen on this side with black holes. One of them started spewing out mass again. Like, literally shooting out
Yeah, that's Hawking radiation. That's Hawking radiation. That was also theoretically proven. That was a theory, and that was proven.
I think it's just an interesting thought experiment. Something that I think people know if there's a clear answer to it. So let's say you have a stick, just any kind of stick, right? It's exactly 1 light year long, right? And you have, let's say, a planet that's exactly 1 light year away. If you push a stick from one end, what will happen? Will you be able to tap the other place faster than the speed of light?
Yes.
No.
It won't be at the speed of light. It won't be faster than the speed of light. It will be the speed of light.
No.
Or extremely close to it. It's going to be the speed of light in the matter of whatever this stick is made out of.
No.
Well, the idea is that speed of light is the fastest the information can travel, right? So as soon as you press onto it, what happens is all the atoms will collide, no matter how dense it is. Since the stick itself is not light, it cannot move itself faster than the speed limit. It will just move at the pressure until it gets.
That's what I was saying, though. But it's going to be the speed of light changes in different objects.
Oh, no, it doesn't. Not in this one, because the matter that stick is made out of. But let's say the stick was somehow made of light. Light itself is always a constant moving. We call it. I forgot what they call it. The thing it is. So not only can you not push it, it's constantly going.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying, but it's going to be the speed of light in whatever material. So if we think of a theoretical material that the speed of light is still the speed of light in a vacuum, then sure, it will be the speed of light in a vacuum. It will move at that rate.
It will react like a sleep.
So it would take 1 year for you to push it on this end. It'll take 1 year for it to actually be moved on the other end.
My only thought is the speed of light exactly. We don't know it. We know the speed of light in 2 ways at one time. Because we've never been able to measure it from one way only.
It is entirely 100% impossible for us to ever measure the speed of light in a single direction. Impossible. So there is no
we do not
no way to ever do that.
Speed of light at this point.
We know
of light, how fast it is.
We know the speed of light.
The speed of light is.
Yes, but okay. I know what Vampy's getting at here, and I know a lot about this topic as well. The speed of light. When you measure the speed of light, you have to send light a distance and receive that information back of how long it took to go that distance, right? So let's say you have 2 stopwatches. We both sync our stopwatches here. You go a light year away. Let's say you just teleported a light year away. Magically, whatever. You're there. But now I shine a light. Takes a year to get to you, based on your stopwatch that's synced up with mine. Or if it took a half a year to get to you, let's say. So half a light year. We'll stick with the 1 light year. If it takes 1 light year for it to get from me to you, and then 1 light year for it to get from you to me, for you to bring the information back to me, that's 2 light years round trip for a 1 light year distance. You cannot measure it at 2 ends and immediately know the answer because you had to sync it up at 1 end.
Yeah.
I think I'm following you, but
I'm not explaining this very well, but
okay.
Yeah.
Basically,
we only know the round trip because information has to be transmitted as well. So like, if you send a laser, you read that laser at the end, you have to send the information back that same distance. So now you only have the 2-way, and you have to divide that by 2 to get the actual speed of light.
Yeah, we don't know the 1-way because it could be infinitesimally faster than we even think of right now, and that could be
so currently,
lot.
So currently, know that in 1 second,
the speed of light.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So in 1 second, speed of light moves 186,000 miles per hour.
So
okay. So
miles per second.
Let me explain it this
miles
way
per
here.
Second. Miles per second. Yes.
Every single test we can do for the speed of light, every single one of them, it could be that the speed of light is getting to the end twice as fast as it's coming back, and that still adds up to a total that we have to divide by 2 to get light over distance.
That's the only problem with doing this. Anything by
Okay, so let me throw a hypothetical out there. Let's say, for example, I wanted to send a laser beam to the moon. The moon is roughly around 375,000 kilometers from Earth. So I send a laser to the moon bounces it back to Earth. That's not an accurate representation of the speed of light, correct or incorrect?
It is,
we can get
to the best of our knowledge.
Rough estimate of what we know, but we don't really know.
But that's like the only celestial object that we have that we can actually like reflect light off of.
Yeah, and as I said, the issue is, actual travel like the travel time. Like, we'd have to have someone on the moon already waiting for that signal and
then sending a signal back to us at the same time.
We do have machinery up there that can do that.
Yes, but sir, to communicate with that machinery, we are limited by the speed of light to communicate to it and from it. We can send it that message saying, "Hey, go," and it has to send the message back saying, "Hey, I got it." Now you have the 2-way speed of light.
Can I
so
get
the time doubles.
My test idea out?
Yes. It is, no matter what test idea you come up with, it is impossible to both test the speed of light and send the information instantaneously back that it was got.
I'm not trying to say you
send the information instantaneously back.
You don't need the information instantaneously back. What you need is the 1-way travel of the speed of light.
And that is impossible to get because time is different. If time happens to be different and the speed of light is different in one direction versus the other, no matter what you do, it is going to come out at the same. No matter what, you cannot, it is impossible to measure the one direction.
How about this, just to add some fun? You're having a conversation while you're on a plane. One person's on the ground, one person's on the plane. You feel time differently because of the difference between gravity. That's an actual thing. Each word being said to each other sounds like it's happening the same way. But the 1 minute for the person on the ground, it's slower than the 1 minute than the person who's in the sky. You're still experiencing time differently, but time is still constant. It's still the same 1 minute for both.
No, not actually.
All right.
From the person on the ground's perspective, they spent 1 minute on the ground. from the person in the plane's perspective, they spent 1 minute in the plane. But the person on the ground had, let's say, 1 minute, 1 second. You know, that's way the fuck off. But if we're talking astronomical units, then that starts to cause seconds. And what ends up happening is you send a message and it's slowed down because you're getting it at a different rate. And you're sending it and it gets jumbled. Like, let's say someone was on the surface of a planet that is right next to a black hole, but still outside of its event horizon and still escapable. So I'm using Interstellar, actually. That really good movie had a lot of actually true science. They, because of Interstellar, we have actual, like,
good movie, by the way.
Realistic.
Very good movie.
Years, like they spent months generating just the images for the black hole, and had scientists working with that. So Interstellar is one of the best science movies I've ever seen. Anyway, now that that's out of the way,
brought that up. I think that supports my side a little bit.
So Interstellar, when they are on the planet that is close to the black hole, and 2 of them went down on that planet. There were a couple people still up in a station a ways away from the black hole, where time dilation wasn't insane for them. What ended up happening, if you try to send a message from the station to the planet, time is moving so much faster because of gravity that the message would literally come faster than you could read it, faster than you could ever hear it. If someone says, "Hey, you good?" It's gone. Faster than the speed of light. It's fucking gone.
Well, let's just put it like this. Gravity wells dilate time. Any gravity well. From the sun to the planets to black holes. Every piece of gravity...
I still had another part
space.
that I was going to say there, but...
Oh, sorry.
The message going back from the planet to the station would be so drawn out that it just looks like gibberish. It's just going to be background static at that point. It would be literally like, if 1 second takes a year to go by on the station, if 1 second on the planet is a year out in space, that 1 second message takes a whole year to get out there.
Okay, there we're totally agreeing on. Here's the part I think we're disagreeing on. The experience that you're going through time, because you're going through time the same rate, so that's the part that's still constant. The 1 minute,
yes,
that's for one person, and one person that's the same. So,
from your perspective,
hold up.
It's
so
when you have two perspectives and you're trying to communicate between them, that's when it breaks down.
Xavier.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah, yes. I know I'm trying. Okay, so
I would like to point out the last 20 minutes I've been fighting hard to not fall asleep. I've got nothing to contribute this episode.
Xavier, say what you're gonna say. I'm pretty sure I already figured out what you're gonna say, but I've already tried to explain.
I know. You know, I'm catching what you're dropping. This is what I'm trying to understand. So, going towards the event horizon, the reason why you don't get, you won't experience the end of it is because, that's where time will end for. It will go so fast. You're still experiencing that the 1 minute is 1 minute at the same time that your 1 minute is 1,000 years for whoever else is like on Earth or a different planet.
Yes, because time is a perspective issue.
Yes, perspective. I agree with that too.
Time is constant for you. For each individual, time is constant. Because time is just a feel for how it's basically impossible to explain it, but time is constant for a stationary object without any reference to anything else.
Yes, that's what I'm getting for. That feeling of time, how
that's what I was
will
explaining.
Perceive time. Exactly.
Time,
okay.
So that 1 minute on the planet takes a year in space. That's so far away from gravity that it's really not being affected by time dilation at all.
There kind of is a real life. There is a real life example of this, by the way, of gravity wells and how they affect people differently. a Russian cosmonaut spent 6 months in space and aged 5 milliseconds slower than everybody on the planet.
Yeah, that's how that's sort of what we did to prove the time dilation issue with gravity. Now, the really fun thing is when you take two people, have them moving away from each other at let's say a 45-degree angle. So, okay, for example here, let's say we're both people are traveling to an object that is 1 light year away. And we are going to be getting extremely close to the speed of light, but we are going opposite directions at a 45-degree angle out, stopping, turning another 45 degrees or 90 degrees, whatever it is, to go to that same point. We experience time the same, and we arrive at the same time, and then there's no time change between the two of us. If we took a stopwatch and had them synced up at the start, our stopwatches would be synced. But if we tried to communicate during this, that communication would be out of sync.
Yes.
By an outrageous amount.
I think we're agreeing. I just think that we're just coming at it from different angles. So when I think what I was saying before, when I said like it'll sound the same when they're on a different plane and stuff like that. Yes, that part is different. What I was saying before is this, that the feeling from like person A and person B, person on plane, person off, that's going to feel the same for both, even though time is being different. But since we're talking about the signals that's actually being transferred, that's where the distortion that happens the most, because that's where where you can see and measure the time dilation.
Yeah, but so this whole thing got started because we were talking about the impossibility of measuring one-way light speed.
Yeah.
No, it started with multiverse.
Well, yes, but this part started because of that. The multiverse started us talking about light speed.
It's been a long day.
Man, I just realized I
20
could
minutes.
just blind the stream with
Yeah, I
my
was about
particles.
to point that out.
Yeah, I noticed that, motherfucker.
I got it
Blind
set
the
right now,
stream.
though, so that they can see the turtle. I've got the
Beyond
little turtle sitting on the table. Yeah, you guys see the turtle, right?
Yeah, I see
No,
the turtle.
Not on my end. I just got here.
I don't see it on my end either.
Do you see it now?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, I see the turtle.
Oh, well. Oh, well. It's only people that joined before I came in. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so yeah, light speed is impossible to measure in one single direction because we also have to transmit that information, or we have to travel to that end ourselves. And now time has passed further. It's completely impossible.
We can explain why you think we have to have the bounce, because okay, here's what it sounds like. You're saying that it's impossible to measure because we can't perceive the bounce, but we don't need the bounce. You can have like something measuring from the other side. As soon as you flash a light, then you can get that information. Like,
yes, but you have to have two clocks that are synced up a large distance apart, and to get
That's
those
possible.
clocks synced up, what point in the world are you syncing those clocks and then transporting that clock out there?
let's say
If you're syncing them up on Earth, or
yeah,
let's say you sync them up on Earth and you send one out a light year away. If time moves differently in one direction than the other, let's say time moves twice as fast going out as it does coming back, that clock experiences a different amount of time going out.
we don't even
Now
have to
you
go
send that
far.
message
Like,
to sync it up. No, but
yeah, we can go a
going
mile.
the distance.
Yeah.
Yes, but going the
Yeah.
distance, going a mile, the same issue happens, just at a way lower scale.
Yeah, but it's still, we can measure
Because
it.
you are measuring it, but you are traveling with it. Do you get that? You are traveling through space and time with it, with a clock that is synced up to one point. If time and light travel differently in one direction than the other, then as you're traveling out there, you're experiencing one speed. As you send that message, you're experiencing that same speed. Now you have to either bring it back or it has to send a message back to you. And if that's a different speed, it's going to look the same as it would if it was the same speed in both directions. There are many articles explaining this, and it's very detailed. I highly suggest going and reading one if you don't believe what I'm saying. And if you believe that there is any possible chance that you can measure light speed in one direction, go read the article and then tell me again.
I mean, there's an article, but also this Veritasium. I'll quote my source on it when you look at light and how to.
I read an article, a very detailed article, explaining everything on why light speed is impossible to detect single directionally. That was a very interesting one.
The only thing I would suggest for a probably more accurate reading, even if not perfect, would probably be something in a void. Basically a space station where it would be very minimal gravitational.
You still have to travel the distance with. You have to either send information and receive that information, whether that's you traveling to the point that's being received or not. The issue still stands.
Yeah, I'm just saying it would probably be more accurate because it wouldn't be in a gravity well.
It wouldn't be any more accurate.
Hold up.
We've already done that in space.
We're quoting some of the same information. See, I also came from Veritasium. Why no one can measure the speed of light? It happened 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think I probably watched that video too, but I also read a few articles about it.
Okay.
He probably got a lot of his information from one of the articles that I read.
But anyway,
I read a lot of science articles
I like to listen to a lot of science videos. So, yeah, my idea would just be in the void where it would be the true speed of light. Where
we've already done that out in space, and that's how we figured out that time actually moves differently on Earth than it does out there. We've already done that.
Yeah.
And not that time moves differently, but that the speed of light is different in a vacuum versus on Earth.
Yeah.
We're getting nerdy up in here. Yeah.
We've already done
need a lot
all
of astrology, quantum non-locality, there's marine life science. There's the science of just like.
The science of terraforming.
I can see weird things happen.
Terraform. Yep, I see it now.
Yeah, why not talk about something like terraforming and the possibilities of it?
I brought something more morbid to class.
What is that?
I was curious if is it death?
It's an experiment from 1972. You may have heard of it, you may have not.
Yeah.
It's called Universe 25.
Explain.
Oh, okay, yes. I haven't really done deep into this one, so this is new for me.
Hang on. What are you? Yeah, talk about this because I have something I want to talk about too.
All right.
What the hell is going on with them all?
What do you mean?
Getting nerdy.
Glitching out for me.
I don't see anything going on.
Maybe it's just on my end.
But you should all be able to see my turtle on the table now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
I see it. Okay,
So
anyway,
I'll explain.
talk about Universe 25.
Okay,
Never mind what
Universe
y'all talked
25
about.
experiment is one of the most terrifying experiments in the history of science, which, through the behavior of a colony of mice, is an attempt by scientists to explain human societies. The experiment involved creating a utopian environment for a population of rats. The enclosure provided an abundance of food, water, nesting materials, as well as ample space for rats to roam and socialize. Initially, the rat population thrived and their numbers increased rapidly. However, as the rat population grew, social problems began to emerge. Rats became increasingly aggressive, territorial, antisocial. Females showed more and more aggressive behavior, isolation elements, and lack of reproductive mood. There was a low birth rate and, at the same time, an increase in mortality in younger rodents. Then a new class of male rodents appeared, the so-called, quote, beautiful mice, end quote. They refused to mate with the females or to fight for their space. All they cared about was food and sleep.
Okay.
Do you
want to just paraphrase it instead of reading the whole article? Because that's a really long fucking article.
It's almost done.
Read the whole thing.
Just one more paragraph.
Take up the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than just that one paragraph, dude.
Yeah, but
there's
basically
so much more to it.
What happens is it results in the entire population being reduced from 100% down to less than 8% within the course of just a few months. And the reason it's called Universe 25 is because the scientists, they ran this experiment 25 times and got the same result every single time.
Yeah, basically,
look at where we're at now in the world.
A world that can handle more people will never reach its maximum because the people will fight amongst themselves, or the population will fight amongst themselves, and artificially limit their total population. That's the whole moral of that, and what was found out through it. And you can look at human society and make a pretty good guess that we're going in that same direction. There's also a really cool, bunch of psychology rats. Experiments are really fucking interesting. Obviously, Pavlov and his dog is like the number one psychology experiment you could ever do. Now, there is one thing that I just got reminded of, this really, really fucking crazy one, where they, I don't remember what they called it or anything, but they taught monkeys or apes, I don't remember exactly which ones it was, but they taught primates how to use money to like buy food. They'd give them money for things. They taught them about the economy basically, and the monkeys understood it and went with it and started paying for things. Then they introduced scarcity and price hikes and things like that, and the monkeys traded amongst themselves, and they understood, buy the thing when it's cheap so that I can buy more.
The origin of Walmart. We found it.
Yeah. Eventually, the monkeys realized they could pay each other for things, and the male monkeys decided that, hey, the female monkeys are willing to take this money and let me do the boinky boinky.
See,
so they had to stop that experiment after that.
Well, it just proves sex is the oldest industry.
We're also watching this on Twitch, folks. Come on now.
The boinky swanky is the oldest industry in the world.
Yes.
Go ahead and
so that was an interesting experiment I heard about. They didn't do that one again.
Listen, if you donate now, you can switch people's avatars.
It just proves we're all animals on the inside.
Okay. So either we're rats or we're monkeys in this experiment. You decide. Which one do you want to be? Team monkey, team rat?
I'd rather be Team Monkey. At least I'd be more.
So here's a really good question. What species on Earth is the most intelligent?
Dolphins.
Oh, interesting.
Including ourselves.
Intelligence.
I was literally about to say dolphins.
Exactly.
Okay.
How do you measure intelligence? That's exactly what I'm getting at. We can only measure intelligence based on our own feelings and our own knowledge. We can't measure intelligence based on it just put yourself into a dolphin's body. A dolphin is gonna be like, oh, those stupid fucking humans living on land, we got this whole ocean and it's a great time. The humans are not intelligent. They didn't choose. They chose to live on land instead of in the water.
Take a shit. I just took two right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
All I know is
let's take a dolphin and teach it how to speak.
From a dolphin's perspective, we might be stupid. From a bear's perspective, we might be stupid. If we're only measuring intelligence based on science and scientific advances, then yeah, obviously humans are the number one. But how do we know that there isn't something else on Earth that is putting the ideas in our brains without us knowing?
Okay,
we may never know until they
in,
reveal themselves and become Overlord.
And so this is getting to
neutrinos.
fourth dimensional beings. If fourth dimensional beings are a thing, we cannot see them, but they can see us.
We're basically the Sims to them.
Yeah,
Isn't the
just
fourth
like
dimension
we
like the
can,
one thing that's like not defined yet by science? Like we got an understanding of the fifth, but not the fourth.
It is. Our brains just can't understand the the fourth dimension as well, because it's so weird. But have you ever heard of a Klein bottle? It's a fourth dimensional object displayed in a three-dimensional space. It's a one-sided four-dimensional object. So you can crawl all over it without ever crossing an edge. And you would just think you're on a sphere.
Klein spell
really weird.
K-L-I-N. By the way, for those who are watching.
I was just going to joke that
Picture
VR chat is the fourth dimension.
But no. So when I was talking about the fourth dimension, how do we know that there isn't actually a fourth dimension, and that there are fourth dimensional beings that are manipulating our society without our knowledge because we can't see them? How do we know that they aren't changing literally everything for us? How do we know that plants don't fucking grow because of a fourth dimensional being snapping their fingers? We don't. Because we only see the science from our perspective. We can't look at it from the fourth dimension.
Well, I feel like a bit of a skeptic on the fourth dimensional, at least that idea, because pretty much at least everything we can observe now seems to be able to go through all the other dimensions, and
yes,
let's say so. You can have three dimensions, but how would you have a being that can go through 1, 2, 3, and then but it can just live in 4 and not.
I have an explanation. I can explain exactly what you're asking here. We can see 2 dimensions. 2 dimensions can see 1 dimension. You can always see every dimension below you. It just appears differently.
Like the pages on a manga is a 2-dimensional situation.
If those characters were real, they would not be able to see you unless you cross through their second dimension. Then they're going to see just a line.
Okay.
But if you stand back and look at them,
the same coin at the
if
same
you look
time.
at them from a part of your dimension, your higher dimension, that does not intersect with their view, they would never know you're there.
Basically, this is probably where the idea of God comes from, because maybe at one point one of the fourth dimensional beings did interact with us, and there's no other way to explain it.
Well, how about
human minds aren't able to process it?
I mean, technically, if we
want
want to look at that idea for just a second, I'm 100% okay with talking about this idea, because the Bible and the whole religious thing, that all comes down to someone being buried behind a fucking tomb that's sealed off and their body disappearing overnight, right?
Yeah.
So technically, if a fourth dimensional being reached in there, grabbed it out, and moved it over, that's technically possible.
Yeah, basically we wouldn't be able to register why any of it would be happening.
It would just happen.
Yeah.
It's technically possible, and it's reasonably plausible that fourth dimensional beings could be that higher power that a lot of people believe in. So that also comes into another little thing that I want to touch on this. So, I'm not religious myself, but I appreciate religion, and it has a place in the building up of a society. However, using another show as an example here, and this is how I felt long before this show just gives a really good explanation as to how this functions. The Orville. There was an episode in the Orville where they met a race that surpassed humanity because they were phasing in and out of another dimension, and every time they went over there, they'd come back and they would have advanced 2,000 years. So they advanced extremely fast, and that's besides the point. But they explained, and I agree with their explanation very, very closely, that religion is needed at the start of a society so that you don't look for the answers that you're not going to find when you can't find them. So that'd be like looking at the Middle Ages. Did we really need to know why we're on Earth and how all of that came to be, or did we just need to survive and reproduce and make sure we were fed? So just having religion answer those questions for you, yeah, exactly, they were a problem, and that's why just having religion answer the questions that we couldn't answer, instead of spending all your time trying to figure out why you exist, just being told you exist because of this. That takes the load off and lets you surpass and grow, and society grows because of it. But there is a certain point where you have to let go of those beliefs and let go of the things that can't be proven, because other things have been proven and we can actually understand why we are here. We can understand and answer all of those unanswerable questions, so we don't need them to be answered for us.
Yeah, I get that. I understand where you're coming from, but I do feel that religion is not just that anymore. It's also something that can make a community pull people together in the first place, which is still a needed
but you don't need religion to do that. You have other things that can do that.
Oh yeah. But
early on in a society,
that
religion is a very easy tie. And what I'm saying is, like, right now, let's just face the facts here. Why are there so many wars on Earth? How many wars in history have been based solely on a belief and not on fact?
Oh, yeah,
I don't think there's ever been a war based on fact. Every war has been based on one person believing differently than another.
World War II would like to talk to you about that one. That was caused.
I can tell you
as well. So
no, every one of those wars, every single one of those wars, one country or one group thought one thing and felt one way, and the rest of the world thought or felt a different way.
Well,
and that's where the clash comes in.
Both of those wars.
Yeah, but it seems like a wide gap to say like all wars caused by religion.
I'm not saying that they're caused by religion.
Necessarily.
I'm saying that they are caused by a disagreement in beliefs. Whether that's religion, which there have been a lot of wars that were directly caused by a disagreement in religion, but there's also a lot of wars that are caused. Every single war is caused by a disagreement on something. Like right now, let's just look at the war that is currently happening, Russia and Ukraine. That war is happening because Russia believes it should own Ukraine. Basically boils down to that, right? And Ukraine believes that they should be free. They should be their own country.
No, actually, it's a bit different from, at least from listening to the interview with Putin.
It is a long, drawn-out history.
From my understanding of it, it is Russia wanting to expand back into the full Soviet Union space. That's one of the things that's pushing it.
From Putin's own mouth, it was
there's a lot that comes to it, but it boils down to simple shit. There's a lot that goes into it, and I don't want to fucking talk about wars right now. I was just talking in the ideas of them.
Maybe we stick with past wars that we already know. We can use those. Yeah. And plus,
every war was senseless in a sense. It was senseless. There was no real logical reason for all of the death to happen. There was just a disagreement, or seemingly no reason if you just look back at it.
Ants go to war.
Just look at England and France.
Yeah. So
Oh, I thought
if
you
you
meant the
look at
movie
ants,
for a
and
second.
if we just look at ants, if all ants worked together, we'd be fucked.
Oh yeah,
we would be
so
flooded by
fucked.
ants. If all ants just agreed with each other and worked together instead of going to wars and fighting. They go to war because they want more territory, they want more resources, but we know there's enough resources out there for every fucking ant in existence times 10. They don't know that though. And they don't realize that.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
The ant revolution shall not be stopped.
God damn it.
Quickly, he's wearing
Oh,
sandals.
Here's
to bite
another
his
thing.
toes.
Strange Dragon just got my memory onto another thing. So, if we are in a simulation, can we prove that we are in a simulation?
No, that it would be nigh impossible because how would we prove it without knowing what the real world's like?
Here's the big thing when it comes to it, though. If we're in a simulation, let's say we're not in a simulation. The chance of us not being in a simulation is so fucking low if there is any simulation possible. If we ever get to the point that we can create a simulation of Earth and everything that we have ever touched, if we can create that, right then it is a 99% chance that we ourselves are in a simulation. And there could be hundreds of simulations above us.
I guess technically that also could prove another thing too. The fact that we have seen like no other smart, intelligent, life forms, and it's been multi-billions and billions and billions.
And also that there are fundamental laws that are unbreakable, like the speed of light. The speed of light is just the speed of programming. The speed of the computer that we're on.
I just had a thought about that. What happened to the old civilizations that used to exist that are now just ruins? Where did those people go?
Dude,
what happened?
ruins.
Maybe
the ruins.
Maybe this fucking ties into religion again here somehow, because science for some reason ties into religion a lot, or the ideas of it at least. Maybe heaven is actually just another server.
I would say that man becomes too obsessed with their own perfection that they mess with Mother Nature. And if you mess with Mother Nature, you do so at your own risk. It's the number one law in science. And Frankenstein actually taught me that.
But what I mean is, there should be records, because these civilizations have like written history at some point. But
yes,
there's
but
almost none.
if you think
like it's never existed.
There's almost none because it's been millions of years, or thousands of years at least, and those civilizations' records were not kept the way we keep records now. And a civilization in 1,000 years isn't going to keep records the same as we keep them now. 1,000 years ago to now, like, it's so much different. So
what happened to the stories?
I get what you're saying.
The people.
Have you ever played the game of Telephone?
Well, yeah, I know what the game
exactly.
is.
So there's why the word by mouth dwindles down and falls apart. I mean, shit, the story of Rapunzel could be a true story, but it was passed down. They could have written it down if they had common writing, but writing was not a common thing, even in the fucking U.S. 100 years ago.
Well, and another thing just to think about, just to put it out there, information only moves, can only, the fastest it can go is light, the speed of light. Information, so it's the only particle that can make it to send anything. So let's say it is out there. Each of those billions of years, it would take that long just for us to even receive that they exist. And will we matter enough for them to go searching, since it also is another way? If only within like the mere couple thousands of years have we really dominated, this planet, we would have to have a civilization to survive billions of years and have the technology to search. and be waiting for billions
so
of years for the information to reach.
That's another cool thing. If there is another intelligent life, let's say literally a duplicate of Earth is out there somewhere, but it's 1 billion light years away, or let's say it's 14 billion light years away. If we could see them right now, we'd be seeing them, and due to the space expanding and everything moving away, if we could even see them, we would be seeing them 14 billion years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd be seeing the creation of their planet, and they'd be seeing the creation of our planet.
I mean, that could
Instead
explain
of-
why we haven't found intelligent life.
That is exactly why we haven't found it, because the closest habitable planet is not going to be it's not going to magically be the planet that has life. That, like, mathematically, it's going to be like the 10 billionth planet or some shit, some crazy number that we find that's habitable, and it's going to be so far from us that even if they started a civilization at the same time that we did, we're not going to see it for another 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 years or more.
Okay.
Imagine
Strange.
the sad story of you trying to
Like-
there's a nice
like
planet.
right now-
Let's go over there.
Yeah,
And you see
right now-
the rise and fall of their culture.
Yep. See, right now, if you were 1,000 light years away, you'd be seeing, or you could look at Earth, and when was Rome built? What year was
Google,
what
help
year
me.
was the Roman Colosseum built? Someone tell me that.
Wait, the
When was
Colosseum or
Roman
the city?
Colosseum built?
Yeah. When was the Colosseum built? I want to know that year.
27 AD.
Okay, so if you were looking at
27.
Earth
22
2,050 years ago, or 2,050 light years away, you'd basically be seeing the Colosseum get built in real time.
Yeah. Strange.
That's fucking wild. So here's a really crazy thought. If we manage to get wormholes working and we can transfer ourselves through time and space to another point, we would be able to see the history of Earth as it's being made. Instead of us using archaeology to look into it. If we had a big enough
Imagine
telescope, we
having-
could transport it that far out. We would just see Earth being built.
Imagine if we had mirrors that would just outlining the light years and it is being that distance past. You could go in the mirrors. You can look into the mirrors that has been sitting out there that long, reflecting back
Man,
just ancient history
that's
for
actually
us.
cool. Yeah, if we had like a space station
Send
and
it to
had
Elon.
mirrors that we shot out 1 light year, 10 light years, 50 light years away, we would be seeing time double that distance in the future or in the past.
If
That is fucking
if it was
cool.
instant, yeah. If it was, and it had to be actually instant, like because there's again
Well, it
wormhole. That would probably be a
doesn't
way to do it.
Yeah, either a wormhole or we go and put it out there now. Then once the light
if we put it
goes
out
from
there
Earth to
now-
that and comes back, we would just in the future see now. And you
Exactly, yeah.
you can think of it in a really interesting way actually. Space and light have a snapshot of every moment on Earth just out there. So every
Yes.
time you've taken your clothes off outside, it's out there.
God, people seeing my
By the way, I just want to throw this little tidbit in here. This is just we keep on talking about light, but let's think about this for a second. Right now, we are living in a really beautiful and golden age of the universe because of the fact that we can go out on a starry night and we can see all of these beautiful stars. Well, think about this: 10 to the 14 or 100 trillion years from now, every single star will be gone. The universe will run out of fuel to actually make new stars. There will be it will be just a black, empty void in 100 trillion years from now. Now, granted, I don't even know if there's going to be a civilization at that point, but I can only imagine. Imagine if there was a civilization. Imagine if,
So, okay, you know what? That is one of the theories. That is one of about 100 fucking theories on what is going to happen over vast timescales in the universe.
But yeah, one of the big factors,
because the universe is expanding. Mm-hmm. We don't know if it's going to reach a point that it can't expand anymore, and it's going to start contracting, and we're going to have a big bang, and a big bang, and
I think it's called the Big Crush, right? The Big Crush.
Yeah, Big Bang, Big Crunch. Big Bang, Big Crunch. If the universe works a cycle like that, and we're just living in one of those cycles, there is theoretically an infinite amount of times that we will experience this, and this exact situation will exist in an infinite amount of those cycles.
Deja vu.
Give me 1 second.
Maybe, I've always had the idea, and I had a really weird experience when I was really young, where I felt something, and my brain just told me, "Oh, that's just the other universe reaching in."
Oh yeah, no, I've had it too.
And like my brain, I didn't even know I was thinking it. I was just like, "Oh, yeah, something just fell on my foot, but it's not there. Oh, it's just the other universe." And it was just normal.
Also, since we're touching on that, could I touch a little bit on that, like fourth dimension, what it could possibly? But because a long time ago, it was believed that it would be time. Time kind of does fill and answers a lot of those slots. So beings that would exist, that would that you've been in the same area that you're in, that you can't see. Well, 45 years ago, someone could have been sitting in the same seat that you're in. You can't see them because that was 45 years ago. They were there. And as far as like having to line up and like be in the area, you have to be there 45 years ago in order to see them. Same way as for two dimension, you'd have to line up in the proper position in order for two people to kind of see each other in that dimension. So I can see where, just how that theory, where I'm not sure of the science of why time wasn't, but it does fit a lot of those slots for the fourth dimension.
Well, a lot of times time is considered the fourth dimension, but when I say fourth dimensional beings, I'm talking fourth spatial dimension.
There's probably like 10 dimensions out there, so.
There could be. I mean, there is theoretically an infinite amount of higher dimensions.
No, there's 9, or at least as far as I understand, there's 9 dimensions.
We have been able to theorize 9.
Okay,
but there could be a theoretical unlimited amount of higher dimensions. And
yes,
in a really weird sense, us being in a simulation, the next higher dimension is just the next simulation up. They can touch us, they can move us, they can do things to us, like change fucking Bernstein bears to Berenstein bears. They can do things like that. And we'll never know.
Dragon brought up an interesting thought. It would be nice to think humans were evolved artificially by other beings.
That actually comes back into the point that I was making about religion. And how, like, we know...
character creator system, they keep getting old.
We know pretty much how we came to exist. And, okay, let me just say this real quick. Is it not fucking awesome that we're in space while talking about all of this stuff?
Yeah, it's very
science god.
It's like we're beyond pixels right now.
Beyond is the fourth dimension.
We're already here, man.
No, this is the 0.5 dimension. This is the half dimension. We've entered into the half dimension right now.
But anyway, so like what I was saying, everything ties back in, and there's a reason for it. We understand evolution. We've seen evolution. We have records of evolution. And so we understand where we came from and how we ended up here.
And just what
We understand that. Yeah, the one key that we have not found yet is what materials, when put together, suddenly cause life. Because currently we only understand life to be able to cause other life. But where did that first life come from? That's the one answer we have not. We know it was carbon based, but how did it do it? How was it created? What chemicals just meshed together, combined, and suddenly boom, there's life? That's the one answer we don't have yet. That's the one
how, what,
answer.
when, where, and why. The 5 questions. You got to answer about it.
Oh.
Okay,
We know
I'm back. Sorry about
the
that.
when and the where. Basically, we just don't
We know
know
the
the
how.
how. We don't know the how.
It's the how we don't know. We don't know the why.
We don't know the how, and we don't know the why. Well, once we find out the how, that answers the why. Or once we find the why, that should answer the how. But
Once
problem
two
is-
carbon blocks love each other.
so in Minecraft, if you just put 2 blocks of coal next to each other, there's like a 0.00001% chance that it's just gonna spawn form life, right? Let's do that.
Fuck you,
Spawn a
people! I
villager.
came from a bowl of soup.
You know what? Let's make that a mod for Minecraft.
So,
you put 2 blocks of coal.
You know, I appreciate religion, and I want to make sure that's known. But what I do not appreciate is when people that are religious or religions themselves say no, science is wrong when science has been proven, and also the argument of, well, this higher power can just make it happen and make it look like it was done through science. That's not an answer either. That's not a proof.
Okay,
That's
so-
not an answer. That's the lack of an answer.
So for full
an
transparency, I've recently gotten back into reading the Bible since last week. I've gotten back to my daily devotions. It's more or less not so much for it's more or less for a personal comfort rather than like full blown like I'm going to be knocking on doors. So just for transparency. All right.
Yeah, it's good if it's for self-comfort, for putting down a moral guideline for yourself, but for
Well,
the
yeah, it's like
answers to
daily
the universe-
devotions. Talks about focusing on one aspect of your personal life and like.
That's the other thing. So I mean, we're running overtime tonight. So because of how much science ties into religion and controversies there, I would not be against having a civil discussion on an episode about religion, why it's necessary, why it's not, and what's able to be proven and what's not, and what is healthy and what's not. I would be 100% okay with having that episode. As long as people, keep it civil, and obviously we're not bashing on any religions. Let
me know when that is so I can fake a life-threatening illness.
Well, then I'll say a prayer for you if that's the case.
Hello, fellow followers of
anyway,
the Bible.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for tonight.
My second religion.
So, yeah. Let me just read off the notes I had for today. By the way, what's some science stuff you've heard recently? Yep, we got that. Black holes. Yep, we got that. Multiverse. Yep, we got that. And then point number D. Turtle's gonna go science mode on your ass.
And
we got that.
We all went science mode on each other.
I think this is like the first episode in a while we have not argued about anything.
No, instead it was me and Xavion.
No, I think it was you and Xavion. It was like a triple threat. I was just over here like watching the whole thing.
Well, no, you forgot about me and Turtle
It was just
going
this
on.
weird free-for-all debate with everyone other than circuitry.
Yeah,
I know.
and
It's all-
Sobe
now I
didn't
know how
say
you
much
feel,
either.
Stealth.
But he
My
never
bad.
said much.
Sobe didn't say much. Stealth didn't say
It was
much.
comfortable being over here.
Okay.
It's
Anyway,
been a
so
while since
Anyway.
I was here before. I needed to get some
we're
talk
gonna go ahead
time.
and
Oh yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and
absolutely.
wrap it up here. Thank you all for being here for episode 38 of the Beyond Pickles podcast. You can always find a link down below to the YouTube. You can YouTube, Twitch below.
Oh, that's a good
that
question.
tasted weird.
Are ghost hunters scientists?
Ooh.
You know what? That should be the comment question. That should be the comment question.
I was gonna say something about how fourth dimensional beings might be reaching through to us in the form of ghosts, and that's technically possible. Like similar to how we can speak, and a two-dimensional being would hear us and be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Hey, who's
And
speaking
that
of
also
us?
ties into possibility of religion again. Anyway,
okay, so basically, let me go ahead and say that the paranormal can be thought as a subsidiary of pseudoscience. So it's not, it's more or less like a subsidiary.
Anyway, so thank you all for being here for the Beyond Pixels podcast, episode 38, talking about science. As always, links down below. Join the Discord. Tell us what you want us to talk about in a future episode. You can find us on twitch.tv/turtledude01 every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. We're always talking about random topics and having a great time and arguing about it because I like to argue about it. It's fun. It's fun.
Much to our dismay.
Anyway.
They sell Klein bottle underwear, just so you know. It's an interesting place to put your pecker.
Why do I feel like that would be Steve Molds doing?
What?
You know what we also didn't touch on at all today?
Fucking hear that.
What?
We touched on science, but we didn't touch on math, and that is wild to me.
Oh my god, yeah, we didn't touch at all on the math.
How did we
Well, you
not
did say
touch
that
on
the math
math?
supports the. You did say that the math
Well, we got
supports
stuck on the
multiverse theory of black holes.
What is math but a proof of science? So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and do the regular thing we do every time. Circuitry, you get to go first. Shill yourself.
You can find me everywhere that my name is available except for TikTok, but I have been streaming a lot on Kick. It's been a lot of fun. Kick.com/circuitry/ And I'll be doing a stream tomorrow because I was supposed to stream Wednesday, but I'm going to do a long stream for Friday. So you can find me over there. Also, check out rumble.com/circuitry as well. I do a podcast.
Turtle, your fucking pet exploded. And it hurt.
Okay. Vampy?
Alright, at this point, I have a dead YouTube. Twitch, I am still on hiatus until October. I think it would be the 27th, which is a Sunday. I will be trying to get back into it. That would be twitch.com/sir_bloodwith. Do not have a set plan at this point. Blood, or science for the science god, blood for the blood god.
That's what Turtle looks like.
Is it gone?
All right. Well, I'm slowly getting back in the action, which is why I'm here. You guys can find me on TikTok for the most part when I put out a bunch of news. I have a Discord and, of course, on Twitch. And that'll be coming back up soon. And we might have some D&D action for everyone with AI involved.
Oh, no.
Okay. And Stealth, your turn.
That
They're
makes
playing
me
the Bard.
nervous. Y'all can find me at twitch.tv/DeltaFox. I'm sorry I've been super sluggish this episode. There has been a lot going on in my life. I will get to streaming as soon as I can. I'll see y'all then.
Okay.
Oh, also, fucking shit should never forget.
Someone remind me to put the YouTube link below Twitch because apparently it's not actually there.
Oh, yeah, we actually did.
Shirt and fucking shit show on it. No, don't forget.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and.
Don't forget, we still need a fucking bucket somewhere in this room.
I need the
fucking bucket.
Man, I can't think of a good comment.
Forgot about that.
What's your
The
favorite
comment
scientific
question
theory?
was perfect. No,
What was it?
No, that was our.
If you eat enough
I
anywhere,
like
Ghost Hunter
I like.
Scientist.
What's your favorite scientific breakthrough in your lifetime?
Oh, okay, that's
actually a good one.
Not
That's a good one.
What do you think would make the
Yeah.
books?
I would definitely have to say, well, it's not of my time, but this relativity.
The Higgs boson. The Higgs boson would be my
Higgs
my
boson.
go-to in our time.
Oh, that. Oh, for in
Or the
our
creation
time.
of
Oh
the
yeah,
white
for in
bread.
our time, perfect.
Yeah. in our lives, the Higgs boson being proven is the biggest breakthrough. Anyway,
there was a was it the Morty show, whatever?
Who's gonna say the weird thing before I send him off?
Turtle come.